Good morning, Pre-Algebra students and parents and any Math 6 students who happen to watch this video today. Just want to talk about adding and subtracting integers, which we kind of combined today in class, and combine lesson 2.1 and 2.2 from your Pre-Algebra textbook, which all of you now have. Congratulations. Remember what an integer is. An integer is all numbers, including 0, but they're opposites. So, for example, 1 is an integer, its opposite would be -1. -6 an integer, its opposite would be 6. So think again, numbers that are opposites are just that same number, drop that negative sign or add that negative sign. So for instance, 50, its opposite is -50. Those are all integers, those types of numbers. So the set of whole numbers including 0 and their opposites. And always think about it, the sum of two integers, the sum of those opposite integers always equals 0. So 50 plus -50 is 0. So just to review some adding integers. So for instance, I'm going to have 6. Now again, we talked about this in the class. They don't typically put a positive in front of it. If there's no symbol there or sign, it's just assumed that it is a positive number. So we have 6 plus a -4. The way I look at these is when the signs are opposite, instead of adding, what I really do is subtract. Or if I think about it, I'm at 6 on the number line and I started at +6. It says, hey, take away 4 because it's a negative. So I go backwards. 6 minus 4 is 2. We talked about this today in class. The absolute value of 6 is 6. The absolute value of -4, remember absolute value, how far away that number is from 0, is 4. 6 is greater than 4. 6 was the positive number to begin with. That's why this answer stays positive. To do another one, I would do, let's go with a negative. -7 plus, let's go -8. Now, I notice that the signs are the same. They're both negative. Sometimes you'll see the parentheses around this just to separate that plus sign from the negative. Signs are the same, so my answer will be a negative. I have -7 plus -8. Well, I just add these two. 7 plus 8 is 15. Because they're both negative, my answer will be negative. If I started at -16 on the number, or no, I'm sorry, -7 on the number line, and then I went back 8 more on the number line, I'm going to get a -15. So signs are the same. The answer will then be that sign, or those signs, I should say. So, you know, something like obviously 6 plus 10, they're both positive integers. 6 plus 10 is 16. Let's try another one with a mixing of numbers here. Let's go with, I like the number 6 today for some reason. 6 plus, let's go with -23. Okay, first thing I notice, signs are opposite. So instead of adding these two, what I'll do is subtract. Now, I go 23 minus 6, that gives me, I believe, 17. Now, look at the absolute values. How far is 6 away from 0? It is 6 away. How far is, what is the absolute value of -23? It is 23 away. 23 is greater than 6. Now, 23 started off as a negative, so the sign I would assign my answer is a -17. Okay, we'll do one more of these and then we'll get into subtracting integers. And it kind of sounds odd because adding integers, really you're subtracting them for the most part, especially when signs are opposite. Let's go with -17 plus 11. Okay, I notice signs are opposite. I have a negative here, I have a positive here, so instead of adding these integers, what I'll really do is subtract them. 17, I'm at -17 on the number line. I add 11 to it, so I move 11 spaces to the right. I'll end up at a -6. Now again, I know it's negative because the absolute value of -17 is 17. The absolute value of 11 is 11. Again, absolute value, how far something is away from 0. 17 is greater than 11. The sign that we had, it was a negative, so my answer is negative. Okay, taking a look at subtracting integers. This is the one that probably causes a great deal of difficulty. So I have 6 minus 8. Now, let's just look at this 8. It's a positive 8 right now. When you're subtracting integers, you're going to add the opposite of that second number. So I have 6 plus the opposite of 8 is -8. Now I go back to my adding integers. Signs are opposite, so instead of adding as I really do a subtract. So I have 8 minus 6. I always put the bigger number on top in these. 8 minus 6 gives you 2. Absolute value of 6, how far 6 is away from 0 is 6. Absolute value of negative 8, how far negative 8 is away from 0 is 8. 8 has a larger absolute value. 8 was a negative number, so my answer is negative 2. If I go negative 12 minus a negative 12, okay, I am subtracting, so I know that really means I will add the opposite of negative, and I'll put OPP here for opposite. Add the opposite of negative 12, so this becomes negative 12 plus the opposite of 12 is 12. Okay, signs are opposite. I have a negative and a positive, so instead of adding these, what I really do is subtract, and I get 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative, so it's just 0. There's no need to add a negative sign to it. If I do a couple more here, I will take, let's go with negative 24 minus 36. Okay, we'll look at this and assume this is a positive 36. I want to add the opposite, so add the opposite. So I still keep the negative 24, that first one stays the same, plus the opposite of 36 is a negative 36. Okay, they're both negative, so I know my answer will be negative. 6 plus 4 is 10. 0 in my ones place. That 1, 10. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6, so that would be a negative 60. I'll do one more before I sign off here. Let's go with 18 minus 45. Okay, I see the negative sign in the middle, so I add the opposite of 45. So the 18 stays the same. I put a plus sign. The opposite of 45 is negative 45. Okay, signs are opposite, so instead of adding, what I really do is subtract. That'll give me 27. Now, what sign do I give this answer? Remember the absolute value of 18. How far 18 is away from 0 is 18. Absolute value of negative 45. How far is negative 45 away from 0? It is 45 away. That is greater. It means that answer, whatever that number started with, it was a negative, so my answer is a negative. Hope that helps you out on this evening's evening practice. Take care.